Searching all the stars for a sign of hope, looking for the light.
One street over there's a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded black dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Good morning, Robertson County. How you doing? This is 1100 WSG. I'm U-Turn Laverne, and this is One Street Over. Welcome, welcome. And we've got, of course, the Rooftop Ramblers singing us in. And from this point forward, I'm going to be continually promoting the fact that we've got the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. It's on the calendar for May 19th and 20th. We'll have some kind of a square dance and fiddle competition usually on Friday evening, and of course the festival happens all day long. And just pray for me that they do not schedule my granddaughter's birthday on the 20th, because her birthday is on the 18th, and you know how those things go. Jamie Nixon's in the house. What you doing, brother? Welcome.
Just thinking about that Bluegrass Festival, and it's located right there behind East Robinson High School.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Have you been to the festival before?
Yes, several times.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. I'm a bluegrass fan, and I don't know, people, it's one of those things, I don't care what kind of music you like. Bluegrass is just something that's rooted throughout all of it, it seems like. And I just love it. I just love it. It's so
and
fun.
then, of course, with, I'm not going to say that bluegrass was dying, but it had a little falling off period, but then it's been really rejuvenated by a lot of the younger people. And I think we can contribute that to the movement of the Americana kind of music that kind of gets back more to the folk and the acoustic.
Yep.
And so it's bringing those roots of that bluegrass back. So you see a lot of younger artists who are going back like to the roots of country music, which is bluegrass. So
Absolutely, I love it. But it's going to be a great festival, and I will be there. I may have to duck out for a birthday party. I'm not going to miss my 2-year-old granddaughter's birthday.
I have an idea.
What?
Birthday party at the Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah, you're not going to listen to me. Are you kidding me? They're not going to listen to me. There's already the plans, because I honestly put it on the family calendar the minute they dated it, and I looked at all of them in the eye and I said, I'm doing the Bluegrass Festival on this weekend. Do not schedule her birthday party, please, on that day. So we're hoping that will happen. They're going to do some kind of gymnastics things because she does gymnastics now. She's two, and she's doing gymnastics. Well, she's not even 2, but anyway, it's so funny.
That's okay. The next China Olympian in 16 years is training right now for the Olympics.
True that.
Under 2, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, it is what it is, but it's always a lot of fun. And she'll be 3 by that time. So, it's always fun. Man, I just can't believe I'm where I'm at with my kiddos. I mean, I've got 3 grandkids. It's crazy. Life goes fast, brother. I think you know that. I got to do the if you are doing the Bible reading with us with Bethlehem Baptist, I'm behind. I was reading this morning, though. I'm catching up. I'll get caught up this weekend. But today is the 19th, so we're going to read Genesis 38 through 40. And Psalms 12. Genesis 38 through 40 and Psalms 12. Your goal is to get through Genesis by the 23rd. Just finish Genesis by the 23rd of this month and get through Psalm 16 and you'll be up to date. But I really encourage you to reach out to Rachel Culver at Bethlehem Baptist and have her send you the emails that she sends along with all the notes and things. I kind of like to read her notes about the scripture before I read the scripture so I kind of know what to look for. And then I go back and make notes and stuff. It's been really cool going through this and I just really enjoy it, and I think you will too. Jamie Nixon's in the house. We're talking sports here in Robertson County. So glad I got to introduce you to Ilya Maldonado, our president of Ebenezer Broadcasting.
Very nice to meet him. And then I sit down and I find out that you go to a wrestling match at Greenbrier High School, and you had to tell me all about that. Now, you have a standout wrestler, right?
Melvis Lopez.
Yeah.
Well, and Aiden Edwards, who is also in my cat time. I did not know he was a wrestler, and he threw it down and dominated yesterday as well. So both of those young men.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You look at wrestlers and you think, okay, I understand that kid's a wrestler because he's big. Some of the best wrestlers, they might be, that 95-pound weight class or whatever it is, and they get out there and they wrestle, and they're going at it, And, going to a few wrestling matches myself, sometimes I sit back and I was like, okay, it's not wrestling, it's not the WWE, it's definitely a whole point system.
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
a pin system, and then they're wrestling individually, but yet as a team, but then yet individually. And so there's so many different things you're trying to follow. And there's like, okay, you might not have, the school team might not have won the match or I guess it's the match.
Well, Greenbrier did.
Yeah. Well,
They beat East Robertson.
Well, it's okay.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know.
It's that, that rivalry thing.
Yeah, it is. I think it's great what's going on in Robertson County. I think the Robertson County tournament, we was just in here last Thursday, and I told you it was happening the weekend. Joe Burns boys ended up beating East Robertson boys in a tough fought game. It was rowdy in Coopertown. It was that gym. It was rocking and it was loud. It was hot. Yeah. It was so many people in there.
This is that middle school.
People were purposely going out into the cafeteria where the concession stands and bathrooms were just to cool off.
Oh, wow.
It was. You got in there, it's like, man, it is hot in here.
Yeah. And, so many people and
so many people. Those boys run up and down, and so the boys' game was East led for a long time, led by Casey Young, Bryce Harrison, Lane Bruce, and then the Red Devils just made a run. And the Red Devils were probably the better team. East Robertson wasn't. They actually beat Greenbrier to get there, and they were not supposed to beat Greenbrier. So that was really the upset. And so Joe Burns was the better team all year, and then they proved it there at the end of the game. And that's kind of what good teams do is good teams, good coaching, at the very end of the game, they prove this is why we were the best team all year. So hats off to those Red Devils. The girls match was, I'm drawing a blank. It was East Robertson, I believe Greenbrier. And East Robertson beat Greenbrier for the championship. I have to go back and look at that.
And this is middle school tournament that we're talking about that went on in Coopertown last weekend. So, we just love all this stuff. And I've got to get to more stuff. I've just got to because I want to encourage these kids.
Coach Andrea Mills for East Robertson. This is her third year winning the championship, Robertson County Championship. So
nice.
Hats off to her, what she has done there. She has benefited from having some really good players. She has two eighth graders, Gregory and Pennington, and Allie Pennington, who started at point guard as a sixth grader. So she's a three-time champion as well as a starter. And then next year, and then they're going to go to a tournament. They actually have a game today against Todd County, Kentucky, because they're going to the middle school state tournament, which is the 28th. But they do the middle school state tournament. You get an invitation, and then you either say, I want to come or I don't want to come. Mm-hmm. A lot of schools, it's about time, finances, because last year both our boys and girls from East Rumson went. I believe Joe Burns went as well. And after winning the first game, we had to travel really like down to Lewisburg. Yeah. And so sometimes that's just not in the finances to travel. Or then, in middle school gets over and then they've moved on to baseball. They're getting ready for baseball or softball. And so it's so they don't play till the 28th. So they had 10 full days. So that's the reason they threw in another game today against, they can't just continue to practice it just would get really boring and repetitious. Right,
absolutely. You got to, honestly, until you really get into a game, it's really hard to know how things are going to come together. Mm-hmm. You can practice and practice, but until you see all those dynamics come together, it's just really hard to kind of measure it. So very good. So go ahead.
We got into Coopertown the other day, and I was going to broadcast. When I got there, my buddy Terrence Summers there was from Social Dweeb Sports. And we'll put that link down in the comments. But if you want to go back and watch both of these championship games, Social Dweeb Sports broadcast them.
Oh, fun!
And there's there's a link there that you can go watch that, and it's on YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. But hats off to him. Terrence is the guy that covers all the Springfield stuff. He just can't make it in here with us sometimes. I need to do a better job of talking to him on Wednesday nights and getting my Springfield report. That's kind of what I'm going to start doing, is so I can come in here and report. And then, of course, we missed our month, our Monday with Blaine, but we'll get back on track in February.
Right. Well, with the holidays, we had Lee Marie was filling in for me, and so she had some other guests she wanted to talk to, so we just let her go ahead and do her thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, your slot's still good. Slot's still good.
She kindly texted me and told me she didn't need me.
Oh, well, that's okay.
No, that's great. Okay. That was great. Yeah. I was like, okay, hey, around the holidays, you're geared up for it. I get to relax a little bit more.
There you go.
But yeah, I know we got a lot of wrestling, and people that are out there, if you want to get connected with your sports in your area, most schools have a website. Most schools have those schedules. You can get on there. You can see the wrestling. I don't think Joe Burns has a wrestling team. I think there was a young man last year at Joe Burns that came out and wrestled with East Robertson. That's the team that he was on.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how they decide that, but I do know that we had a kid wrestle for East that actually went to Joe Burns.
Okay. Well, and I'm so excited because, talking to my students that are wrestlers, and they would say something, well, nobody follows wrestling. And so for them to have a match during school so the kids could come out and support them and really see these athletes going at it, I thought it was really a good move with the school. And so is that pretty common that they'll do wrestling matches or something like that happening during school hours so they can go? Because I know they did it with volleyball last fall. Mm-hmm. But some of these lower attended sports, just to say, hey guys, look at what's going on here, this is great. I don't know.
And it's also, you got to think Dr. Osborne, East Robertson graduate, so there's a connection.
I did not know that. Yes. Maybe you I think you did tell me that, and I had forgotten that. There's
a connection, and I'm not sure that that's what the connection is, but when you take a sport like volleyball and you take a sport like wrestling and you want to bring some awareness to those sports, what better way to do it than to let kids get out of class if they buy a ticket?
Yeah, you got to buy a ticket. You got to have some skin in the game. Yeah.
Great fundraiser.
Yes, it is. Yes,
because it's like, hey, do I sit in class or do I get out of class and go watch wrestling? $5 I get out of class.
$3 I think it was. $3.
Whatever.
Well, and here's the dilemma. I had 6 students left in my 4th block class, and I'm like, what do you do with them? And so the teachers are like, can you watch my kids so I can go watch this? And so one of the teachers she watched my students so I could go on to the wrestling.
My question would be, in today's times, is it worth your 6 students? Is it worth your $18 just to pay for them a ticket and go?
Honestly, considered it. I considered it.
Let me see.
Yeah, I actually considered it because I really wanted to see these students because they're ones that, again, I've had both of these young men throughout my time teaching. One's in my cat time, one was in AV1, AV2 now. And so, I know these boys now. And what was so interesting is I did not realize that Aiden was also a wrestler and all. I mean, he was the first one out and just tore it up. And did excellent, and then Melvis as well. So it was exciting to see both of them. When is it a match that they're what? Because I don't know anything about. That's the first time I've ever watched wrestling in my life. So because they have a meet, I'm thinking that the combination of everything together is called the meet,
and then the individual matches. Yeah,
I'm thinking. So if we're incorrect, correct us in comments there. But I think that's how it works. So both Melvis and Aiden won their match. And then Greenbrier won the meet because they overall dominated. Yeah. So it was good. It was fun. It was exciting.
So for all of you that are watching, we always know that teachers doing lots of stuff in their classrooms, and you're sitting there and you're like $20. It's like, well, I already buy pencils or I buy this and stuff like that. You can always donate to your local high school, to your local teachers.
Yes.
And then at the same time, keeping the sports, you can always donate to your local sports. Your football coaches are always out there mowing grass, striping the field.
Yes.
Basketball coaches are always, some of them are having to, well, they don't have to, but to keep things nice and things like that, they clean their own gyms. I have some of my best conversations with Coach Caton as he's out there and he's washing uniforms and things like that. There's so many things that behind the scenes
have no idea.
that coaches do.
Yeah.
And most time as fans, we set up in the crowd and we criticize.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm criticizing an official or a coach, and I really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And so
And that's one of the things, because I've had such a diverse life experience. I've had so many teachers approach me. Well, what do you think now? It's like, I've always had respect and I've always sung your praise. Same thing with coaches, because I know what goes on behind the scenes, because I've been in those situations at some point. But there's an awful lot of people that do want to just sit back and just run it. So you can put some skin in the game and give a teacher some cash, give a coach some cash, because there was always, yesterday something came up, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how much would it cost me to take all these kids? And then she grabbed them for me, and I was like, cool. And then I had just they have taken such good care of our audio video program. There's so many cool things coming in. We're just not wanting for anything, but then there'll be little things, because we're setting up a wardrobe area and a makeup area, because we're going to have kids on camera. And one of my students, she goes, oh, you can go get a wardrobe bracket, and all these. And I think, I wonder if they would let me buy a wardrobe rack. And just the little things that come up. I needed a vacuum. Somebody donated a vacuum, and it's just wonderful. So it's all good.
And that's the reason why we have booster clubs and quarterback clubs and dugout clubs and things like that, because you want to organize that, and you want to make sure that those types of things are going. And it's just different things. Like, as you grow this, there'll be big time supporters, and some of those supporters will be the kids that come through your program that go off and graduate, and then they give back. And that's kind of, people ask me all the time why I do what I do at East Robertson, and I say because I want to make the school better than when I left. And the school was already better than from what I left. But then what I'm doing is I'm hoping that I'm taking it to a different level where grandparents and people who can't get out of the home can watch, or they're not even around. Maybe they're in a different state where they can watch games and they can have pictures of their kids. So that's what we're trying to do, just trying to make it, just trying to raise the level of everything we do. And I know that, like, Jim Searles over there, Voice of Bobcats, Terrence Summer, Social Dweebs. I mean, there's so much stuff that's going on in all these schools. And so it just, hats off to Robertson County, because Robertson County is doing a lot more than most counties, and it's through volunteers.
Oh, you bet it is. I'm just amazed. Barbara Willis is on here asking me, well, what do you need for clothing, makeup for your students? And I'll get you a list of things here in just a minute. But I mainly for my boys, because I tell them, say, wear a nice shirt tomorrow, because I need you to do something on camera, and they'll show up in a hoodie. I'm like, no. You need to put something, especially if they're going to record something that's going to be archived and people can go to it, and it's history, and you need to look the part. So
you need a medium large, extra large, 2X Greenbrier green polos.
Yeah, exactly. Now, well, honestly, I went to the clothing room at church last night up at the Benevolent Center and grabbed a couple of large purple and blue polos, but I forget about school color stuff. I'm just not a school color person.
I'm not too sure you're going to get anybody around here put on purple.
Why?
Because of Portland.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see? Uh-oh. Well, I got a nice blue one. Who's
Greenbrier is definitely not going to wear it. Royal blue?
Yeah.
That's White House. That's even worse.
Oh man!
You got to start thinking about these rivals.
Yes. Okay. So it's got to be. Okay. I need stuff that's green, y'all. Okay. I need polos, but no stripes, no plaids, solids, shades of green, or black, or something like that. Right? No, or is that Springfield?
Go safe. No, black's fine. Go safe with white and gray.
No, that looks awful on camera. Awful. No. We need. Well, see, that's the thing. You need those jewel tone colors.
Just make sure you don't do any green screen stuff with the green.
Well, oh yeah, of course, absolutely. That's true. I mean, that's a dilemma because you got all the green screen, and now we're going to do all green.
Yeah,
we're going to have to wear some blues and some things like that. We're just going to have
black
to.
and gray.
Black and gray. That gets boring. Oh, okay, all right. But the challenges of being an audio video teacher, but it's fun. It's fun.
Going on in basketball right now, all the high schools should be in their district matches. I mean, or their district games for the. East Robertson, who was, I'll report on them. We were 14-3, and Tuesday night got beat by Knowledge Academies down in Antioch. Knowledge Academies, I believe that school was an old Best Buy. It's kind of unique. It's right there beside a Hickory Hollow Mall.
Yeah, I know exactly
and
what you're
they
talking
transformed it into a school. It's got a nice gym. And East went down there. We didn't play very well. Did not play. The boys did not play very well. The score was 55-48. But it was way closer than that. It was at the very end, a couple having a foul and then a couple steals, just some like trash seconds, and they got some layups. So it's kind of one of those defeats where it's kind of like, okay, we kind of needed that. We kind of needed that shot in the arm, and so that was a district game, and Joe Burns had beaten Knowledge Academies only by 5. So you've got 3 teams, and East Robertson has beat Joe Burns. So you have 3 teams that are very are going to be very competitive when it comes to that district tournament. That district tournament, which will be held at Joe Burns High School, is going to be a great district tournament if you're looking to come catch some. If you don't have any affiliation, or if you want to just see some good basketball, that district tournament coming up in February is going to be.
And did you give the date on that?
On the district tournament?
Yeah.
I can look it up real quick if you want to go.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do a break while he's doing that, because I've got to get to some basketball. But I was excited to go and see wrestling yesterday and see my guys just absolutely, tear it up. Greenbrier did awesome, and particularly Melvis Lopez and Aiden Edwards. They were awesome. It was very cool. It was exciting. I just had never seen that. And boy, a lot of athleticism out there. We're going to go ahead and stop and talk about my friends Barry and Rebecca Ridges with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. Great at what they do. And it's really interesting because both of them came out of other careers. Rebecca was in radiology. Barry, we mentioned a lot about his marketing background because he was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years. And so when you bring that into the real estate community, that just means he is so well equipped to make sure that people see your property when you're ready to sell something. And he's going to make sure the photography is wonderful, the videography is wonderful. He does drone footage, he does walkthrough tours. He can do all of those things that are essential to selling property now because we do so much of it online. Rebecca, just brilliant, again, coming out of a radiology career, and she was working with real estate, I think, part-time at first, and then just fell in love with it, went full-time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, so she's always studying, learning more. And they say, too, if you want to get into real estate, Exit Realty is a great place to mentor you and bring you into that world and show you all the ropes and help you to understand exactly what it's all about. And whether you're buying or selling, they're going to make sure that you're coming to the table prepared, that you're pre-qualified, that you know how much home you can afford, because why waste your time with something that you really can't afford? They're going to keep you on task, looking at the things that are going to work for you and doing the things you need to do to make sure you get the most money for your property you're selling. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're up in Cross Plains, and they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUY, robertsoncounty.com, or you can take and just call Rebecca at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Tell them you turned sent you. Find a date for us there, Jamie?
Yes, it'll be February the 17th.
Okay.
16th, and I think that's tentative right now. They will firm that up. As I'll just go over the schedule that we have left. East Robertson has STEM prep tomorrow night at home. Then Trousdale County at home on Tuesday. They go on the road to play Joe Burns at Joe Burns, like I said, on the road, January 27th. Monday, January 30th, we're playing Heritage at Heritage. Then the Indians are at home against Merrill Hyde on Tuesday, January 31st. February 4th at home, Lead Academy. And then Monday at home, February 6th against Greenbrier.
Okay. So that's Monday against Greenbrier?
Monday, February 6th.
February 6th. Maybe I can make that game. Okay. Because I think Greenbrier has a home game tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
On Thursday?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Typically when are the high school basketball?
High school basketball games are typically Tuesday and Fridays.
Okay.
Now they'll throw in a Monday, Thursday, and a Saturday game. We got 2 Monday games coming up here at the end of the season, along with one Saturday game.
Okay, but it typically is on Tuesdays and Fridays. Because I didn't hear you. Did you have anything for Greenbrier Friday? I really think their game is. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking they have something tonight.
Not sure. I don't.
I'll check it out and see. But if they've got a Friday game, I can make it to a Friday game.
Yeah, Fridays normally when their games would be Tuesdays and Fridays. That's the normal high school basketball game.
Okay, as I got to get to a basketball game. I keep saying I'm going to, so I got to get it done. And you need to get out and support your local sports teams. These kids, they work so hard. Watching the wrestlers yesterday, man, that's a lot of work. That's tough stuff. And it's not something I would have really thought needing so much stamina, because I don't know, I never saw it, didn't have an idea how it went together, but man, that's some rough stuff.
Yeah, I believe I've listened and I've heard a lot of people talk that have wrestled before, and they're like, the first thing that you want to do as a wrestler is you're trying to do things. Of course, you're trying to get points, but if you can take your opponent's breath away, if you're number one, if you're in better shape, but also that's the reason why they don't let guys of different weight classes wrestle against each other, because you have a heavier guy lay on top of a guy smaller, then you can't breathe.
Done.
You can't breathe. And so if you can't breathe, you can't move. You're not strong, can't breathe, you can't get oxygen to your muscles, and you become weak over a course of time. And so, but that's what that they try to do. They try to use their bodies and things like that. And I know some of the rules is like you just don't leave your arms out, because somebody's going to grab that arm, put you in a submission, or and then you have to quit, or they roll you over fairly easy and pin your shoulders down. And that's about the limit that I know about wrestling.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that sounds about right. And that was one thing I was sitting and watching. And one of my co-teachers, Miss Story, we were standing up above watching and to get a good view, and neither one of us had a clue. Then she had to go back to class, and I sat down with Mr. Driscoll, and he had wrestled before. And, of course, I was wanting him to explain it to me, and you could tell, just be quiet and let me watch the wrestling. He was one of those, he loves sports. Yeah. And so I'd have questions, and he was just zoned in. And I thought, I need to just shut up and just try to glean what I can and listen and not ask a bunch of questions. Because we all know that annoying person that sits there and asks you, well, what are they doing there? Well, why did they do that? Well, what does that mean?
I believe last year I did one of the broadcasts for a wrestling match, and I got in there, and it was quite they told me I needed Bill Pearson to tell me all about it. Well, Bill wasn't able to be there, but his wife, Jenny, was there, and so Jenny's like commentating with me. She's like,
fun.
So I was like, this is great. I'm sitting here and we're watching these male wrestlers, and I have a female commentating because she knows, because her sons wrestle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot of females that wrestle too. I know White House has had a couple of girls that wrestled. I think East had a girl. You say you guys.
There was a girls' match yesterday. Yeah. One girls' match, and it was interesting. They were both scrapping it. I think Greenbrier came out on top of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not know the young lady that wrestled from Greenbrier. But it's pretty much, if you've been in my class, I'll get to know you. Otherwise, I'm still just kind of a deer in the headlight. I had a student come up and ask me something about, can I do such and such? And I said, sure, but remember, I'm new. So I don't know that that's the right advice, but sure, sounds good to me.
The other day we had a 70-degree weather day right here in the middle of January, and it's kind of crazy, because even in these cold days, we've seen the baseball team out there. I come to basketball games in the East Robinson. Baseball team's already out there. They got boys out there throwing and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, soon we're going to have baseball and softball.
Soccer.
Yeah, and
soccer. Guys are on the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be, spring just becomes all wide open. We have a lot of fun there. And I think one of the things that we really, there's a really cool event that's coming up, and I'll get you the date on it.
Okay.
Its inaugural was last year. They had a county tournament with softball.
Okay. I think I remember that.
But they had a home run derby.
Oh, yes.
At East Robinson, and the girl from Springfield won. And but it was Coach Evans out there at East Robinson learned so much. He went through it so fast. It was over like before it ever began.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, we need to slow it down, play it up. And it was a great turnout. You had other players come in supporting their teammates in the home run derby. You had coaches pitching, or their dads would come out and pitch, and and so this year we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And really looking forward to. So that's something that we need to let everybody know about,
right?
Because that way you can come out. Other counties, other teams had heard about it, and they've been wanting invitations. Like, hey, can we come and be in a home run derby? Like, that's not even in Robertson County. And I don't think Coach Evans has decided that yet. I think he wants to do one more year of maybe keeping it just the county kids.
Why not do both eventually? If this is, do a county and then do maybe a region.
Maybe, and I think last year, I want to take that back. I do think, I'm not sure if he had a girl from Watertown because whoever was in the tournament, whoever was in that tournament, and there was a couple teams, but it was like there's a lot of people that wanted to be just invited to the home run derby.
Yeah,
because you only got a certain amount of time that you can do a certain amount of games.
So how does the home we're waiting on the United Way folks coming in here, Brian and Tiffany. I have not seen them walk in. They may be out there. Do you see them? But it's about that time.
Yes.
Are they here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't see them sneak in. Tell me real quickly, how does the home run derby work, and then we'll slide them in.
You get 10 swings.
Okay.
So you get as many pitches as you want, and so you get 10 swings, and it's either an out,
okay,
or it's home run.
Okay, so if you don't like the pitch, you don't have to swing at it. You get 10 swings, and how many home runs? Okay, cool. I think that would be fun to watch. I think that'd be fun to watch. So, well, very good. You got anything you need to say in parting?
Nope, that's it. I just want to just make sure you support your local athletes,
absolutely,
your local schools, your local teachers, and your local coaches.
Very good. Jamie Nixon, tell them how to find you and the stuff that you do for a living.
I do social media digital marketing at nixonpro.com.
There you go.
All right.
Reach out.
Mike.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we'll
see you later. God bless, and stick with us. We have got Brian and Tiffany coming in from United Way in just a moment. And actually, I think she's actually brought a special guest. Come on in here. Are you by yourself, or is Tiffany coming? Okay. I forgot that that she had. I was thinking that she was coming in. Lewis Wallings is here, and go ahead and pull that microphone to you, Lewis. I'm going to go ahead and do my break real quick, and we're going to be talking about the tax service, right? Is that what we're talking about? Okay. I had a chasing a rabbit moment, and I thought, oh yeah, that's going on today. She sent me a message, but before we get into that, I want to talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. Here's what's going on. If you want to go out and learn more about the garden that you're going to grow, it's going to be 60-something degrees today, guys. And now it could be sub-zero in a couple of weeks. We know that's what happens during this time of the year. But if you're wanting to plant cool weather vegetables, you've got to get those in the ground in February. I've done enough gardening to know that if you want to plant lettuce and things like that, you have to get those planted very, very early. Now is the time to prep your garden. While we're having some milder temperatures, you can get that done, and you'll be absolutely thrilled with the results because you'll be ready to plant exactly when you're supposed to. Go out and talk to Amy about all the particulars of that and all the details that you need to know, and she will get you acclimated. Right now is a really good time to go and talk to her before she gets so busy with the summer, because in the summer, man, she is moving nonstop. Their hours right now are 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Sunday, they're open from 1 to 4. Go out and talk to them about the garden you're going to grow this summer, in the spring. And you can also talk to them about some of the beautiful things that are in their greenhouse. You can always just go in there and just breathe that and get ready, knowing that things are going to be springing here before we know it. We're already seeing daffodils starting to pop up, at least the greenery from it. And you can talk to them about your CBD products that will help you with your arthritis. It could really be a game changer for you with your arthritic pain. If you're having trouble sleeping, they've got something for bug bites. They've got a little salve. They've got a great pain salve that you can get, a little headache salve that she and Miss Jane make right there in the house. The oils are processed at a local lab, but it's all made from products, the plants that are grown right here in Robertson County. So if you're interested in that, you want to know more, go and talk to them today. They're at 4920 Highway 161. Here in Springfield. You can call them at 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. Always let them know you from sent you. And my coworker, I mean, we work together in school, and I mean, it's so funny because I've heard your name a lot, and you've been associated with this tax prep program for a while, haven't you?
This is our fourth year.
Okay, because you've been at it from the very get-go.
Yes.
Just because you like to do taxes, I've heard. Isn't that funny? But that's what I've always heard about you. They're like, he just really likes to do taxes, and so
I like to help people.
Well, there you go. That's just it. But it's something that you don't that comes kind of naturally for you. I guess maybe the tax prep and things like that. Maybe
math has always been an easy thing for me. So
there you go.
It just works out.
Well, so. Tell them what else you do. What is your exact title at the school?
Sure. So I'm in my daily day job. Yeah. I'm a supervisor of system data here for Robertson County Schools.
It's quite funny. I got an email from you yesterday.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, I was like, oh, I'm going to be talking to him, and right. Because I'm having to get acclimated to all the things that go along with being a CTE teacher, which is a career teacher, and getting my temporary license, which praise the Lord finally got done.
That's right.
And what the dilemma when you're coming into changing, because I tell people I retired to teach,
right,
and a lot of people will teach and then they'll retire and do something else. Well, I did that already. Now I'm after my retirement I'm teaching, and so all of the things I've done education wise are from a long time ago. A lot of, I didn't graduate
not
from
a long time ago.
Well, Lipscomb I did not finish at Lipscomb until 2009.
There you go. See, that's not long at all.
I transferred from Freed Hardeman 3 years of education in 83.
Well,
That's been a minute.
That's been a few minutes.
That's been a minute. So I told everybody, I said, I was a like a 30-year senior, 20-year senior, because I was my senior year and I put it on hold because I was doing radio, and I was like, why? My parents wanted to just slap me, and I don't blame them because they put so much into my education at Freed Hardeman. I was like, and
now it's all just worked out.
All done, and I'm a teacher.
That's right.
And it's so fun, but I do appreciate that, and I'll get right on that.
You're
too.
fine, no problem.
All right, good deal.
You bet.
So talk to me about this tax prep program and the need for it.
Sure.
Was it did they approach you or did you approach them? How did this all start?
So it's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and it's actually a program that the IRS runs.
Okay.
So there's something like 8,000 sites nationwide. And so this is a program that the IRS runs. The United Way of Greater Nashville sponsors this in the Middle Tennessee area. UWGN, I always get those letters mixed up, actually is one of the largest VITA programs in the nation.
Okay.
And so as the program, of course, the United Way office had closed here in Robertson County there for a while, and then as it was being reestablished, and Brian and his team looked at some of the needs that were in the area, and income tax assistance was one of the calls that kept repeatedly coming in, and so they looked at reestablishing a site here in Robertson County. And we were able to do that in the 2019 tax year, which, as you'll recall, was the spring of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And that was not a good time to try to start a program. So we actually ran our program for about 4 weeks and then had to shut down because of the pandemic. At that point, we moved everything very quickly to a virtual platform and finished that tax year online. We all learned how to do our taxes and do it all through pictures and crazy document swaps and secure document servers. It was very governmental. But we got our way through all that. And the following tax year, actually, we had to do the entire season that way.
Right.
And so when we were able to come back to live service last year, and then we'll repeat that again this year. So we're really looking forward to being back together with everybody face to face.
Something you mentioned is that they get calls that this is something that they needed, and we when I first heard about 211, we talked a lot about it. But that's what they're talking about, is they will get calls into 211 because basically that's a number I hand out that's a United Way just helpline.
It's a helpline for a wide variety of things. Absolutely.
It is wonderful. And it's something that through benevolence and the things I was doing at the church, people would come to me and ask questions of things because we did food and clothing through our benevolence center.
Right.
So, but if you needed help with rent or you needed this and that, then you would give them the 211 number. So if they're getting those calls saying,
it's a phenomenal
I need
community
tax,
resource.
and I need tax help, and so that's what they were hearing. That's the reason why they decided this is something we needed to do.
Absolutely. So that's what established our center here. Last year we served over 100 families here in Robertson County, man, it was just it was a really great benefit to be able to, and it's great for the volunteers too, to be able to know that you're just turning that right back around into the community and pouring that.
So let's let everybody know what the guidelines are, because you can't just go in and just because you don't want to do your taxes. This is something you've got some criteria that will allow you to qualify for it.
We do, but it is also very broad. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, well, that won't apply to me. We do have an income cap of $70,000. So if you make $70,000 or below in the previous year, then we can help assist with preparing your taxes, and we can do the entire process. We'll e-file them for free. The whole process.
What if you're filing joint?
It doesn't matter. So we can file any type of return, and can actually file amended returns for previous years if we need to help you with that. Just as long as you stay under that income cap, we're in good shape. So that's really the biggest thing, is if your gross income is $70,000 or less, we can help you probably. There are some unique situations that will kind of disqualify you if you have a lot of rental property or that kind of thing. But even if you run your own business, we can help you with that. We do quite a few of self-employment returns.
That's great, because a lot of people are entrepreneurs and they'll do something. They'll do a little independent thing, but they don't really understand the particulars of how to file those taxes.
And the other piece that I want to make sure that I emphasize is this is a free service. So there is absolutely no cost to this. You make your appointment, you walk in. We usually can complete your tax prep in about 45 minutes and have it all done. At that point, you're filed and you can go on about your life, and they'll send you the check.
How about that? Or you'll mail a check.
Or they'll mail you a check.
Or no, you'll mail a check.
Or you'll mail them a check.
You'll mail a check.
We try really hard not to have to do that, but sometimes that is the case.
Yeah.
Those are never the fun returns, but you do have to have that conversation too sometimes.
So that's just it. Well, and again, if you're married and say your combined income exceeds that 75, then that wouldn't be one you would do.
Able to help you.
So it's got to be so that was really kind of my question. You've got, maybe you could consider saying, well, maybe we want to do individual and then do it that way. But if you're married and your combined income exceeds 75, then you would not be able to help that.
We would not be able to prepare that particular return, but I'll still encourage you to go ahead and call the 211 number, because we do have other free resources available where not necessarily, you might not qualify for the VITA program, but you would qualify for United Way's personal tax-free program, where you can still do it yourself, and we'll provide you the free software to help you do that.
Oh, that's good, because I mean that a lot of times it's just the program that you just plug the numbers into, and if you're doing well enough that you're exceeding that income, probably you might be able to, I mean, I guess
you just never know.
Oh, I have so many people that I know that are so intimidated by the IRS and all those things. We ran a company for 20 years, a roofing company. And I have to tell you, we had a couple of encounters with the IRS where somebody that was working for us didn't get some taxes paid. And that couldn't have been kinder. Honestly and truthfully, I've never had a bad encounter with the IRS. And it's such a stigma that people, and nobody likes to pay taxes, but I have never had a bad encounter with the IRS. They've been the kindest, in everything we've ever had, that if there was a misstep with it, it wasn't intentional. Right. It was just fixed it, and they were kind and gracious. And
because of that, there's also a relationship that each of the site coordinators, I serve as a site coordinator here for Robertson County, and so each of us kind of have a relationship. We kind of have a contact with the IRS already, so if there's really a problem, we can kind of address it on the front end rather than have to be worried about, is this going to catch? Is this going to make it, everybody always wonders, is this going to make me be audited? No one can really answer that question, because it really is kind of random. But we are able to kind of know what things might be more likely to be audited, and go ahead and address those on the front end, and help folks avoid a lot of hassle. And it does address some of the stigma. You get a scary letter and it's all written in formal language, but we get, from our perspective, we see 6 or 7 of those letters right in a row. So it's just not that really a big deal for us. So we're able to help the taxpayer kind of navigate the system a little bit too.
I've always had good tax preparers, and I've had good help for mine, ever since I have been out earning money, I guess. And so I've not ever had that stigma, but I just hate to see people get that. They have this big fear. Well, this is something too, Liz. I've worked with a lot of immigrants, and especially before I, was at the school full time, did a bunch of English second language, got some really dear friends from other countries, and I can't begin to tell you how many times they've handed me a letter, or they've gotten a text or something that's not the IRS, that they're trying to pretend to be the IRS and just trying to scare the whatever out of them.
Sure.
And those kinds of things. Do you get those kinds of calls too?
We do get those kind of calls, and to that end, we actually do. We have Spanish preparers available, and so we have quite a few of our local families that participate and come in with that. We help them navigate that system. There's a lot of different scenarios that can come into that particular situation, and sometimes some of that population may not be really anxious to, or may have a lot of anxiety about interacting with the government in some ways, and we really just we're not here to judge anything. We'll get your taxes done, get you prepared if there's something that we need to address, and frequently we do. So yes, we'll get those letters. I know in one situation, we actually had a situation where an employer had really taken advantage of an immigrant in kind of a pretty bad way, and the immigrant had no idea that it had occurred.
Isn't that a shame?
And it was a shame, but we were able to help them navigate that through that. There was a little bit of identity theft going on there, and you don't think about uncovering that as you're preparing someone's taxes, but we did.
Wow.
So then we were able to help them and connect them with the resources to get that repaired. So it's kind of a gateway. We find out a lot of things, and we, because we're working with United Way, have a lot of resources available as we get into these situations.
Outstanding. It's just such a good service. When I first heard about this, I thought that is just wonderful, because it's just such an intimidating thing for
absolutely.
so many people.
And I do want to give a shout out to my volunteers. We have a really good crew that comes in and works with us. We all go through several months of training to get ready for this, and we recycle that every year so that we stay fresh on the new changes and the whatever's happened in the previous year tax code. And so a shout out to my volunteers, because we couldn't run this program without them, and they're tremendous folks, just good hearts and lots of want to help people, and we do a good job with it.
Very good. And while we're still on, before we change the subject though, on getting things from the IRS, how does the IRS contact people? And I know I have this answer because I share it with my friends.
Sure.
But why don't you just kind of go over that?
IRS
How
will always send you a
expect.
letter.
Yes.
That you won't get a phone call from them. You won't get, those are really big hallmarks of a scam. If you get a phone call or a text or something like that you haven't asked for, then you can pretty well know that that's a scam. The IRS will only communicate in written communication.
How about an email?
Usually not. And again, if you have asked for it, that's a different situation. So you can sign up for an email, for example, to know that your returns are being processed. But you ask for that email, so you can get an email from that particular situation. But just out of the blue, hey, I just got an email. Nope, that's not going to happen. You're going to get a letter. You're
going to get a letter, and it's going to be very clearly marked that it is from the government. It's from the IRS. If you have any questions, this is the time to get signed up and get on board with this program. And we'll kind of talk about taking sign-ups, how you get in line, how you make appointments. But let me go ahead and do my break, and we'll come back. And we're going to continue to talk with Lewis Wallings. He is with the school district, of course, but he is also heading up this tax prep program, and it's called, again, the name of it?
VITA. VITA, VITA.
And it is just a great program. One of the coolest things, I think, that we've got going here in the county. But I've got to talk about another really cool thing that's going on here in the county that I'm super excited about, and it is Cumberland Connect. And
Come on.
Since I have this swag from Cumberland Connect, what do you think that means? I now have it in my house. Ooh. They showed up yesterday.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Well, and what's really funny is I've been anticipating this for months. And so I'm talking with Caitlin Bonds from Cumberland Connect, and they became a sponsor, and now they're a daily sponsor. And we just love that they're one of our partners here at WSGI. And we just love that we're building this great relationship, because it's amazing. I talked, as soon as all this happened, they showed up, they had the box on the utility pole. And that's been there for about a month. And then they said, well, the next thing is they got to attach it to the house. I talked to Dr. Causey about this. I said, so, because he has it. And I was like, what's next? And so he said, well, they'll put it on the house, and then they've got to make an appointment to come in. They showed up on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so we were there.
Awesome.
So that way we had the dogs in the house, and they weren't bothering them, because we got the email saying keep your dogs in. I'm like, ooh, I need to know when. And so we were there, and they showed up. I went out and hugged his neck. I was so excited. And as soon as he pulled out of my driveway, I called and I said, okay, it's on my house. I need an appointment. And they're like, they haven't turned the paperwork in yet, Miss Vivio. But I'll call you. And so a couple hours later, they've turned the paperwork in. When do you want to come? I said, well, you'll have to decide that with my husband. I said, I can't be here, but he can take a couple hours off and come. So they came yesterday, signed it up, and I get a text. I'm in with the kids, and I get a text, and he goes, we were 3.5. That was our speed. Ugh. It was like 750. I mean, megabits per second. That's insane.
You got some good streaming stuff now.
Oh, my goodness. My kids are going, Mom, you don't need a gig. That's like trying to fill a bathtub with a fire hose. I said, but I want it.
That's right.
I want a gig. And here's the interesting thing is this morning, I got home very late last night, so I was just able to plug in the password and just play with it for a second. This morning I got up and I was driving out around my barns before I came in, just trying to see how far it went. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. Cumberland Connect, guys, this is it's a utility now. And also, too, there is a affordable connectivity program that they want to make sure you understand that your household could qualify and get monthly credit up to help pay for internet. And if you're eligible, you could receive credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband service. And like I said, you don't have to have a gig, but you can for $80, and it's cool. But they've got lesser packages, and really, if you just you can spend $30 and get internet like you just blow everybody away. It's fabulous. They're wanting to help you with the Affordable Connectivity Program, so get online, see if you qualify for that. Give them a call, 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or go to cumberlandconnect.org, plug in your zip code and say, hey, I need to make this switch. I was talking to my friend last night at church that her mom's got it and got YouTube TV, and I'm like, so why don't you? And so she's like, I'm probably going to switch. So if you're a Cumberland Electric customer, good news, you're going to have Cumberland Connect, and it is fabulous. I got to tell you, I called yesterday and was canceling my AT&T, which you have to get them on the phone. You cannot do it online. You have to call and cancel it. And when they said, well, why are you canceling it? And I told them what, and they're like, oh, okay. They knew it was coming. They've heard it before. So get on board with Cumberland Connect today. Yeah, I know that was way more than a minute, but I'm just so excited. I'm talking with Louis Wallings. He is with the Roberts County School System and in charge of data, you said, right? That's officially the title. But I'll see your emails from time to time. But he also is the head of what we do here with the free tax prep, VITA. And if you want to get an appointment, it's through the United Way and all those things. They're the ones who facilitate it, right? Would that be a proper thing to say? Okay. Yeah. And so, are you taking appointments right now?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, how do we get in line? How do we get in line?
So you can visit the United Way VITA site.
Okay.
Online, or you can also call 830-7940, and they'll get you set up with an appointment.
Do that phone number a couple of times
Absolutely.
for me.
615-830-7940 for an appointment. We are there on Saturdays, beginning the first Saturday in February. I believe that's the 4th. And so we'll run every Saturday from 9 to 1 every day throughout the rest of the tax season all the way to April. Again, to get an appointment, you can book online, or you can call 615-830-7940.
Awesome. Very good. And
those appointments are already filling up, so come on in and get your time.
Well, and that's the thing. You need to get going, because you could absolutely lock up. Because you guys, do you usually run out of appointments, or
as we get to the end of the season, we'll book up?
You'll book up.
Yes. We'll have lots of flexibility here at the very beginning. So if you've got your stuff, come on in February, you can get it done. You can have your refund by spring break.
Oh, wow.
But it really only, right now, it will only take a little bit of time to get your refund back in. The later you wait, the longer it takes to get your refund, and the less time we'll have available.
Well, and that's the thing. You just got to remember that you get in line now,
That's right.
and it'll make all the difference in the world. So I appreciate it. Is there anything that we're missing? Because anything that you think we need to cover as far as this program?
All you got to have for the program, you do need a photo ID and then all of your tax documents. You will need a photo ID and your Social Security card for each person on your return. So if you're claiming dependents, make sure you've got Social Security cards or tax identification numbers for each of them. So we do have to have that and bring that to the site.
Okay, very good. That's so funny. You mentioned the Social Security number. I'm teaching, one of my classes that I'm teaching is Intro to Business and Marketing. And so I'm having the conversation with my kiddos last couple of days. And I said, how many of you know your Social Security number? And I'm stunned at the ones. Do what?
Bet it wasn't many.
No, and I just can't begin to say. And let me ask you if this is a proper thing, because I mean, could I reach out to the parents? This is something they did for my kids early on, and they had a form that I had to sign saying yes, you can make it part of the class curriculum that they learn their Social Security number. And so do you think that would be something that I would be allowed to do, is write a letter to the parents, say, we want your children to learn their Social Security number. Can you please provide that? We will lock it down and nobody's going to see it but them.
In a lot of cases, we may already have that, so you might check with your attendance clerk.
Okay.
Then the other issue that you would have with that is, remember that not all of your students will have Social Security numbers, and so that could create a little bit of a wrinkle for you because of the identity theft that surrounds Social Security. That is no longer required information for parents to provide, and so that would really be up to the parents if they wanted to provide that. We have a lot of cases where parents choose not to, understandably, because once that number is out there, it's very easy to breach over into identity theft.
Okay,
so
I did not realize that.
Can really
so it's an
become
option.
Part of the problem. That's correct.
Okay. Because see that
it used to be a requirement years ago when you and I were both in
Yeah.
school. Yeah, that's just what you had to provide. But now there's actually you'd probably be very surprised at the number of your students who don't have one because of their particular situation, and so
they
and they're not
don't
required to
have one, period, or they
That's
just
correct.
don't provide one.
Both.
Really?
Correct.
So when they're born, they don't necessarily get a Social Security number.
If they're an American citizen, they do.
Okay. Interesting. Well, see, and that's just the thing, because I thought it was such a cool thing that this one teacher did. It was just and
I don't disagree. They need to know it. But,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you'll have to tread lightly on that one.
Okay, because I would love to come up with some kind of initiative to get them just to memorize that. And I told something else too. We're learning. Do you know how to write a check? Not that you have to do
That's
that
a big
many.
one.
And how many of them don't have any kind of a discernible signature?
Right.
They print their name.
Yeah, this particular group, as cursive writing was taken out of the curriculum for a little bit, and it is now back in the curriculum. A lot of folks think, we don't teach that in schools anymore. Yes, we do. But the current group of high schoolers there is a gap there, and so they didn't necessarily learn to write in cursive very well. So their signatures are a little rough. Okay,
so with this, and I've got questions that are coming to mind, and I'm here at the end, because I'm trying to help the students with this.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody signs a tax form, can they print their name?
They can.
Or does it need to be a signature?
We ask for a signature, but that's just like anything else. It can be printed, and then you can have it witnessed.
So if it's printed, it does need to have a witness?
Doesn't have to have one, but it could.
And that's one thing I told the students the other day. I said, having a unique signature that's legible, not one that's just a bunch of squiggly lines, which, so many people do. Doctors are the worst. Sure. But having a very distinctive signature is part of keeping your identity safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I had no idea about the Social Security number, though. Thing.
It's a little crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
World.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Talking with Lewis Walling. So, how can people get in touch with you? Just through the VITA program?
Sure. The easiest way to get in touch as far as VITA is concerned, we'll get a few phone calls at the Board of Education, but that's really, and this is a partnership with our Board of Education. Our local board partners with United Way to provide this program to our community.
I did not know that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the Board of Education kind of sponsors it here in our community and partners with United Way. The board provides, we provide the facility and actually some software and some computers and that kind of thing to actually do the program and provide a place to make it happen. It all happens at the Board of Education on Saturday mornings.
So it is at the office there. We're in what part? It's in the office off Central.
In the main entrance. You come in the lobby there, and then we set up in the boardroom and all
to the right. When you come in, and then you'd go to the right. Okay,
Absolutely.
very good. Because I don't know if we covered exactly where it happens.
We do it all at the Board of Education. It's very well marked, and there'll be signs out front, and you can come on in and see what's going on.
Okay, well, just one more time.
Sure,
Tell
call
them,
that 211 number, or you can call 615-830-7940 to schedule your appointment, or you can book online at the the VITA tax-free program for United Way.
Okay, do the phone number one more time for me.
615-830-7940.
Very good. Thank you so much, Louis Wallings, and my guest in studio, and appreciate so much United Way giving up their time to let us cover this, because this is a big deal, and it is time, and you need to get your appointment right now if you want tax prep help. And tomorrow is Faith Friday. We'll talk in detail tomorrow with I'll have Gwen Harder come in, and she has been doing the Bible reading as well over at Bethlehem Baptist. So I'll remind you again, today is the 19th, and so if you want to stay in line with us, we've been covering this every day. You want to be in Genesis. We're Genesis 38 through 40 and Psalms 12. So read that and you'll be up to date with us, and reach out to Rachel Culver and get her devotionals that she has that goes along with it. They're so helpful, and you're going to enjoy getting to read the Bible with us through the year. We'll talk a little bit too about the class that they're doing on Tuesday night at Bethlehem Baptist with Christy McClellan, the Gospel on the Ground. Gwen was at that on Tuesday as well. So that's what we've got planned for Faith Friday tomorrow. I hope you will join us. Have a wonderful day. This is again 1100 WSGI. God bless.